So now let's move on to the third recipe, and that is the advanced recipe or the difficult recipe, I would say, and it is known as babka bread. I'm using the pesto sauce for the babka bread. Babka bread is basically a brioche bread or made with a brioche dough, you would say, because we don't use a normal bread recipe here. Now we use a brioche dough, and brioche dough is a very highly enriched bread that contains a lot of butter and eggs, so that it's very rich and tender. The butter and the eggs makes it so rich and tender and almost very tasty. So here I'm going to use butter for sure. Usually a normal bread recipe uses less quantity of butter. If you go through a normal bread recipe or a loaf recipe or a sandwich bread recipe, it would have less fats. This particular brioche is an enriched bread which has a lot of fats, a lot of butter to it, and because of the eggs and the butter, it has a very tender crumb, soft, rich, and makes it light as well. So the only thing that we're going to do here is swap eggs with aquafaba, and the eggless brioche, it will turn into an eggless brioche, not a vegan one. For a vegan brioche, you need to swap your normal butter to a vegan butter and the milk to plant-based milk too. So this is just an eggless brioche, and to make the eggless brioche, we are using aquafaba. Aquafaba is the canned tinned chickpea water that we get here readily available. You can also make it at home, and it works wonders like egg. So it can whip up, it can bind, it just doesn't, once it's mixed to any particular good, it doesn't have any flavor or anything like that. So it doesn't after the bread will not have chickpea flavor to it. Okay, so and it just perfectly works. So it's very close to the eggs that we're going to use in a normal brioche. It's very close to it, so it gives the same finishing to an eggless brioche. So let's just begin. This is a very simple recipe. I'm having 100 grams of butter here, 25 grams of sugar. I'm having 1.5 teaspoon of yeast, instant yeast. This is an active dry yeast. I will write the conversion ratios in the description below. This is aquafaba. This is the canned chickpea water, and this is almost 60 ml. Then I'm having milk here, which is also 100 ml milk. You can use either half cream and half milk. You can use full milk. It's completely your choice. I'm using a bit of vanilla. I'm using my fresh vanilla. A bit of salt. Now here I have two types of flours. Let's speak about it a little bit. This is a normal all-purpose flour that I'm having, and it is 100 grams. I'm having bread flour here, which is 150 grams. You can use only all-purpose flour if you do not have a bread flour, but I'm using bread flour T55 because it has high protein. It will give me a good texture. Build up gluten will be more better in this. So you can take all-purpose flour, complete all-purpose flour, if you do not have bread flour. I just need a little better texture, and for me bread flour is easily available, so I'm using a little bit of bread flour. This is T55 flour. It's a high protein flour. When I say T55, means it has 55% of protein comparatively to a normal bread flour that's available in the supermarket. The normal bread flour that's available in the supermarket, I think, would have 15%, probably, yes. So that's the reason I'm taking a T55 bread flour. In terms of yeast, as I told you, 1.5 teaspoon of instant yeast. I'm having active dry yeast with me, so I'm using that. The conversion basically is 1 teaspoon of yeast is 1 1/4 teaspoon of active dry yeast. So this is 1.5 plus 1/4 and 1/8. And if you don't want yeasty taste in your breads, you can go ahead and buy and invest into fresh yeast. You will not get that yeasty flavor or the yeasty aftertaste in your bread. Fresh yeast comes in a package of like kinetic sand. It comes like a block, like a kinetic sand. It's not in powdered form, and I do not have that in hand, otherwise I would have used that. Fresh yeast has to be consumed within 13 to 15 days. It has to be always stored in the fridge, and that's the only reason I do not have it readily available, because finishing that 500 grams block of fresh yeast is not easy. But if you're making commercially and if you're making for friends, family, if you bake breads very frequently, I would suggest you to invest into a fresh yeast rather than going for a powdered ones or an artificial this one. Fresh yeast also gets molded faster. That's the only reason it has to be finished faster. It looks like a kinetic sand. It is also known as baker's yeast. Okay, so now let's just begin with the recipe. I am not using my hand to make this dough, but you can definitely use your hands to make this dough. It just takes a bit double of the time, so I'm not going to use that. I'm using my stand mixer with a dough hook. It needs a lot of muscle strength to make it with the hand. Just going to give the bowl a quick clean. Flours in this. A little bit of salt. Not much. If you know that yeast doesn't like salt too much, it just slows down the fermentation process. So you need to never mix yeast and salt together. You need to just lightly go ahead and do it. Mix the salt in the dough. In the flour, sorry. That's it. Okay, let's just move this aside for a minute. This is an active dry yeast. If you're using an instant yeast, you do not need to follow this process, but because I'm using an active dry yeast, I'm going to activate the yeast before I add it to the flours. So I'm just adding my sugars to my milk, and I will just microwave this a little bit. I don't want it to be too hot. I don't want to kill the yeast, and I don't want it very kind of cold sorts, because it will not activate the yeast then. So I'll just quickly microwave it and come back. Okay, so I have warmed this up and it's warm to touch for me. Okay, it's not very cold, it's not very hot. Just give it a mix. Yeast feeds on sugar, so that's why we've added sugar to activate it. So now if you see that the yeast has come up, which means it's activated already. Okay, except the butter, we will not incorporate the butter for now. I'm just keeping it on the side. I'm going to incorporate vanilla and aquafaba and the yeast mix. Okay, so bit of my vanilla to my aquafaba. Usually a brioche is a sweet dough, so it uses a good amount of vanilla, but I am pairing it with pesto, so I am not adding a lot of vanilla to it. But I will write the original recipe in the description below, and I will also write how much vanilla I used. I just eyeballed it, probably just 1 teaspoon or so. Okay, so first I will be adding the aquafaba to it. I'm putting the mixer on speed 2. It will be running on a very low speed, and then I'll be incorporating the liquids to it. So bread baking is very therapeutic. Do not speed up this process. I know that the dough is formed, but I don't want to go to a full speed and just knead the dough. No, let it take its own time. It will build its own gluten. It's just basically this speed is matching the exact speed that I will use the hand speed. Okay, I don't need to go on full speed for kneading this. Let this just be on a slow speed, that is speed 2. I'm on speed 2, and this is gonna run this way. It may take you good 15 to 20 minutes to knead a particular bread dough, but it's gonna be worth waiting that 15-20 minutes. Okay, so let this be on speed 2, basically knead on speed 2, and it will be on slow speed until I add the butter. So only my butter is left. Remaining all the ingredients has been added to it, and after 10 minutes of kneading I will show you how it's gonna be like. So after 5 to 7 minutes I've stopped, and if you see, the dough is very stiff. Okay, it's not very soft because there's a kind of the moisture is still missing. Okay, which we will add now. That's the butter, but it is soft. It is breaking. If you see, it's just breaking. There is no stretchability, elasticity to this dough. Okay, it will get its elasticity once we add butter and again knead it on a slow speed. So like fermentation is a very important process in bread baking, the kneading process is also very important. Okay, so do not rush the process, just be gentle and slow. Okay, so I will not be adding the full butter, but it like all together I will be adding it in 1 tablespoon like that, like in a very small portion, so that I'm giving a good ample of time for my dough to absorb that fat into the dough. Okay, you might see that the dough might stick on the sides and split, but that's okay. Just keep kneading it. It will come back to the soft dough again. I'll be waiting for this to incorporate first before adding the next addition. What I mean the dough will split and break is this. Okay, if you see that it's gone bits and pieces and there is a lot of butter on the sides, which is completely fine and normal, the dough will slowly absorb all the butter. So once that is done, only then I will add the next addition. This is gonna be a little slow process, but it's gonna be worth it. So now if you see, the sides are almost clean of the bowl. The butter has been absorbed by the dough. Now it's time for me to add the next small bit of butter batch. We will continue this till the full butter has been finished. So sorry, I think there's a lot of light here. Until the full butter has been finished, we will continue this process, and then I will show you how the dough looks like, but we have to do this as a slow process. So this dough has been kneading for like good 15-20 minutes, and I've added the full butter to it. The dough is very enriched with fats, so butter is one of the fat in this dough, brioche dough. The other fat normally is the eggs. The yolks, the yolk has the fat, right? So I have added a little bit of cream. Like I told you, if you can do half cream, half milk, or full milk. So I have added cream to it, so that also gives it in richness. Okay, so that's how smooth your dough will look like, and so light and fluffy. This dough is very smooth. It feels like cotton. Okay, so every bread dough has to pass a window pane test. Okay, so if you can see my fingers, wait, can you see the transparency of the dough? Okay, that's how it's gonna be like. If you see, can you see my fingers? Okay, so that's how. The reason of doing the window pane test, this means the gluten has been built properly. The reason of doing a window pane test, which means if you could see a transparent layer of my fingers, so when the dough rises with the yeast, it will not tear. Okay, it will stretch in a transparent film one over the other, which gives that honeycomb effect inside the bread. And that's the only reason we need to knead the dough properly, like a slow process. Now I'm going to keep this dough for fermentation. Okay, I'll explain you how this is gonna be done. You can use the same bowl, but I'm using the same bowl. So now if you see, the dough is quite smooth. Okay, it's very smooth. Now I'm going to just put it like a ball, shape it like a ball. Okay, and just gonna keep it and cover it with a cling film, and just keep it in a warm place, maybe in the yellow light of your oven, or in the somewhere where it is a little warm and dark, and it will be double in size for like 2 hours. Okay, so I'll show you how to shape the babka bread. Okay, with the pesto, and this is the same dough you can use for making a challah bread, but the braiding process is a bit different in that. I will not be showing that. I'm only going to show you how to shape a babka bread. You see, it's been beautifully proofed up. Now we'll shape it and go for the second proofing before we bake. Okay, so I just want to tell you that you need to prepare additional things. So I have some grated cheese, the amazing pesto that Reema ji from Rimzi's Kitchen has sent us. So got some amazing pesto which I'm going to use, and I'm going to use some sun-dried tomatoes. These are just dried tomatoes and this is not in the oil. I personally don't like them. I like these ones because they have a perfect zing to it, the tang to it. So I'm going to use, and pesto goes very well with sun-dried tomatoes. Okay, so I'm going to use this. I have a bread loaf tin. Okay, spoon, knife, spoon, and a rolling pin, so that we can roll the dough and proceed with shaping the babka. Okay, so I'm just keeping this aside and let's just knock out the air in this. So if you see, there's a beautiful gluten that's been built. The dough is super soft. The dough has got good time for absorbing the moisture. Okay, ensure that your surface is clean. Okay, this gives you just one loaf of babka. If you want more, you can double up, triple up the recipe. I'm going to spread my pesto. There's a little oil floating on it because it's put to preserve it. So I'm just going to mix in that oil with the back of my spoon. So you see how green that pesto is. This oil that Reema ji has poured on top ensures that it is fresh. So it's really tasty. It's fresh and tasty. Actually, I've already tasted it, so yes. Okay, so leave a little gap at the edges. Okay, don't go completely to the edge because we want to stick the dough and twitch it so that it doesn't, so the pesto doesn't really comes out from the sides. I'm going to add some sun-dried tomatoes. Now I'm going to add cheese. Usually with pesto, Parmesan cheese goes well, but I don't have Parmesan and I love cheddar cheese. So this is the Amul ka cheddar cheese that I have grated. Okay, I'm going to use that. I just love the taste and the creaminess and the thickness that cheddar cheese can give. It's up to you how much more and less you want. Cheese also goes well with pesto. Okay, I'm just going to roll it now very carefully. If your dough sticks to the kitchen platform, do not worry, just help with a knife and just go ahead rolling it. So you will twitch it from here nicely so that it doesn't opens up, and from the sides. Okay, this doesn't has to open up too much. Now if you want to get rolls like pesto rolls, cut it like a cinnamon roll. For traditional babka, we'll cut this into half very gently. Join both this together. Hold your babka. This is open because it has a lot of filling, which is completely okay with me. Carefully cross it over, twist it like a braid, okay? It's completely okay if it's coming out because of the excess filling to it. Just braid it and twitch it. Okay, similarly here also it's been braided, okay? Carefully pick it up and put it in the pan. After shaping it and putting in the pan, you need to proof this for good 2.5 hours. Because it's winters now, so you keep it in a warm place and allow it to rise for 2.5 hours. If it is summers, it might rise up quicker, okay? Keep an eye on it. So for me, 2.5 hours. And the reason also that you are not able to see the braid properly is, first of all, it's overfilled, which I wanted it because it's gonna be for home. Secondly, the cheese. Usually in the babka with pesto, we use Parmesan cheese, which is like a powder. It's not grated very thick like this, okay? So definitely you may not see a braid right now, but inside when we cut, you will have a proper swirls in it, okay? So I'm allowing it to proof for good 2.5 hours, and then I will show you how it looks, and we'll do the glaze and the baking. So now after the dough has been proofed for a good 2.5 hours, we're just going to put it to bake in a preheated oven at 180 degrees, and after like 15 minutes we will reduce the temperature to 160 degrees. There's no as such particular reason as to why are we reducing the temperature. It just gives an even bake. The first initial rise has to be a quick rise, and then the inside portion of the bread has to bake, which can bake slowly also. Okay, so we are just topping it with a glaze. This is milk and honey, nothing else. Just an equal portion, say 1 teaspoon and 1 teaspoon of milk and honey. For vegans, you can use agave and plant-based milk. Glaze is done. I'm just going to top it off with some pepper, fresh pepper, and a bit of salt. We already have a little salt in the dough, we already have salt in the cheese, and we already have salt in the pesto, so we will not add a lot of it. If you want to omit salt, you can completely omit that as well. I'm going to put this for bake, and once it's baked, I will show you the final product and the sliced product too. So here we end our series of the pesto recipes, and I hope you like them. If you try them, do tag me. I am there on Instagram and Facebook by the same name, Cakes and Conversations. Also, if you have any questions, do ask me in the comments. I'll be surely replying back to them. And I would also be posting alternative recipes, like one time I'll be posting cakes and sweets, and then the next alternative will be a savory recipe, and so on. So before I was into completely baking, I would love to do more and explore baking a lot, but I also would like to add some savory dishes to my channel, and I hope you really love them and like them. And this is how the babka has come out. And this is actually already gobbled up by my family, so this is the only loaf left because I saved it. I did not let them eat. So if you see how beautifully it has the layers of the pesto and the sun-dried tomatoes and the cheese, you can see a cheese layer distinctively showing here. And this is a very enriched bread. It has a lot of fat like the butter, that's why it is a little dense, but it is soft, okay? It's not hard bread, it's a very soft bread. We love to eat breads with our evening tea or coffee. It really, we are not someone like a biscuit person, but we are a bread person. So we really love to make breads and keep it at home. This is something that can accompany your tea and coffee really well. I hope you like my recipes. Do subscribe my channel, stay followed, ring the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching.